Get off the rat wheel.
What I actually want to do, as I go ahead and get out my notes here, I want everybody to get out a clean sheet of paper. If you're not a writing individual, at least get out a blank Word document or get out your tablet, because we're going to be going through in detail how to invite, the pillars of inviting. How do you properly invite people to look at the presentation? And let me just back up, because I know we also have some new partners on the line, and we even have some guests on the line. In this wonderful profession known as network marketing, our entire goal is to build a big team. And the reason why we want to build a big team is because, you know, it's so much simpler to have a large group of people do a few simple things, such as just acquire a few customers. So you can acquire a bunch of customers for yourself all you want, and you can make some very good money. There's some pretty good money in the 100 and 200 customer club, and that's great. But even in this is speaking from a position of strength, even someone who has been in the 200 club for almost a year now, I can honestly say that the true reflection of what we built in this business is not just what we build personally, it's what the team can do. Because I'll tell you guys, every single month since I've been in that club, what we've earned based on the entire team's efforts have been way more than that 200 customer club. I tell you that. And I think we can all agree with the fact that a lot of people can do way more than you can personally. Even if they're just doing a small bit, even if you're earning just a small percentage of their efforts, that greatly outweighs what you can do, okay? So what I want to show you guys is how do you build a team? And one of the fundamentals of building a team is properly inviting people to take a look at what we have. It's not explaining 5 links. We don't go out there and just try to be the best wordsmith. It's all about how do you get people to look at the information, and how do you move them effectively from being someone who doesn't know what 5 links is to understanding it and then ending up closing them into your business. How do you do that? So I trust that everybody has a piece of paper and a pen right in front of them and you're ready to get going. So with all that being said, here are the rules of inviting. Before we actually get into the formula, the rules of inviting, and there are 4. The first rule is that you must disconnect your emotions from the outcome. You must disconnect your emotions. Realize that this is hard, but it's necessary. You cannot go into an invite hoping that everybody that you invite is going to join your business. You're going to be disappointed every time. Your goal should be education and understanding. And all you simply want to do is you want to just simply say, you know what, I'm going to go through this list of people. Whether they say yes or whether they say no is irrelevant. Your goal is just to go through a list. So disconnect your emotions. The second rule is to be yourself. All right? Now, you want to be your best self, but you still want to be yourself. You don't want to become just this strange person that people don't recognize, because they're not going to feel comfortable, and neither are you. So you want to be yourself. Third thing is you want to bring passion and enthusiasm. All right? Inviting will not work if you're not excited. All right? You have to be excited, and you have to have passion. And just remember all the reasons why you got started in this business. The fourth rule is that you have to have a strong posture. A strong posture. Here's what that means. It means not being insecure. It means being bold. It means being confident, and it means being strong. I'll give you a great example. We've actually done some in-home business receptions where some of the partners, maybe there only might be 1 or 2 guests, the partners will start to apologize to the guests. And we'll say, no, don't apologize, right? It's about having posture. You always want to have a strong posture. Never be the type of person who lets little things throw them off. You always want to have the semblance that things are strong, because people are going to look to you for leadership, okay? So those are the 4 rules. Now, here's the invitation formula, okay? Now, the invitation formula, there's an 8-step formula, and I want you guys to write these 8 steps down. Now, what I want you guys to also realize is that these 8 steps, they work on the phone or face-to-face, okay? I'm going to slow down because I really want you guys to understand. These work on the phone or face-to-face. I'll tell you where they do not work. They do not work in text. They do not work on Facebook. They do not work in any one of these environments. Now, you can use text and Facebook effectively, but this 8-step process works best on the phone or face-to-face. All right? So here are the 8 steps. I want you guys to write this down. Step number 1, be in a hurry. Step number 1 is be in a hurry. Step 2, compliment the prospect. Step 2 is compliment the prospect. Okay? Step 3, make the invite. Step 3, make the invite. Step 4 is, and then you could put this in quotes, step 4 is, if I, would you. Step 4 is, if I, would you. Step 5 is the confirmation number 1. Okay? Step 5 is confirmation number 1. Step 6 is confirmation number 2. Step 6 is confirmation number 2. Step 7 is schedule the next call. Step 7 is schedule the next call. And step 8, which is my favorite step, the 8th and final step, guys, is get off the phone. Step 8 is get off the phone. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through each one of these steps, so make sure you're taking notes under the appropriate step. So if you remember, again, step 1 is be in a hurry. Being in a hurry is all about urgency. This is so important because if you leave this out, all the rest of your steps come crumbling down. If you forget to do this, people are going to throw you off. So whenever you're inviting someone to take a look at your opportunity, you've got to be in a hurry. You've got to be. All right? Having a sense of urgency allows people to respect what you say more. They're going to respect your time. They're not going to bombard you. How many of you guys have been in a situation where people are bombarding you with so many questions and you don't know what to say? That's because you didn't start off being urgent. So here's how you become or appear to be in a hurry. What you could say to someone is, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm glad I reached you. Now is the time to talk, the time to talk, but, and then you go into the rest of it. You could say, I'm so glad I caught you. I was on my way out the door, but I'm glad I got you. Okay? That's how you're in a hurry. So that's step 1. Step 2 is complimenting the prospect. Now, here's why complimenting them is so important. It makes people feel good. Most people just don't get compliments that often, okay? All right? So when you compliment the prospect, you want to compliment them on something genuine. So, for instance, here's a great compliment. You've always been so sharp, or you're so sharp. May I ask what you do? That's great to use if it's someone that you don't know too well. Or you could say to the friends and family, you've always been supportive of me, and I really appreciate that. You can say to someone maybe that you respect, you've always had a sharp business mind. All right? Or you could just say, just in general, you know what, you're just super sharp. You're just the type of person that I really admire. Okay? So that's step 2. Now, step 3 is to make the invite. Okay? Again, make the invite. Now, under step 3, I want you to divide this into 3 categories of making the invite. The first category, under making the invite, put direct approach. All right? The second category is the indirect approach. And the third category is the super indirect approach. All right? So we had the direct approach, the indirect approach, and the super indirect approach. Now, the direct approach, guys, is what probably most of us are doing. The direct approach is simply directly prospecting them. So you'll say something like, would you be open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing? That's a great one. I use that one the most, guys. Would you be open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing? Or another great direct approach line is, do you keep your business options open? That's one that Tupac the Court uses a lot. I use that a lot too because the Platinums use it. So again, do you keep your business options open? That's a direct approach, guys. Okay? Now, an indirect approach is great for people who maybe you don't know them too well. And, you know, since you don't know them, maybe they're not comfortable being directly approached. So for an indirect approach, you can say something like, for instance, who do you know who may be open to a business opportunity? All right, who do you know? That's the key phrase there with the indirect. Who do you know who might be open to making extra streams of income? Who do you know that keeps their business options open? That's the indirect approach because you're not directly approaching them. You're being indirect, okay? And so usually, of course, if you say, who do you know, a lot of times people are thinking to themselves, me, I'd be open, right? But, you know, they may not say that. Sometimes they will. Either way, it's safer and it's very effective, okay? Because it makes people feel less pressured. Who do you know, right? Okay, so for the super indirect approach, what makes the indirect approach a super indirect approach? Well, a super indirect approach is when you say to someone, you can actually say this to someone, now, Bob, this is not for you at all. This is not for you. When you're telling someone this is not for you, but who do you know who might be open? That's being super indirect because you're actually telling them it's not for them. That's a huge takeaway. See, here's the thing. If you take something away from somebody, they're going to want it more. You guys know that? When you take something away, they want it more. So when you tell someone, this is not for you, but who do you know? They're going to say to themselves, well, why is it not for me? Right? That's a great strategy to say this is not for you. Here's another one that I use that's super indirect. I'll say, you may not even be qualified. See? You may not even be qualified, but who do you know who's savvy, business-minded? Now, that's great, and a lot of people will say, man, why would I not be qualified? Now they're very, very curious. Okay? So now that's step 3. Make the invite. You're either going to be direct, indirect, or super indirect. So step 4 is if I would you. If I would you. Here's a strategy, and this is why we put it in quotes. The strategy of if I would you is that it implies reciprocity. Here's what that means. If I would you, that means if you do something, or if I do something, would you do something? If you do that, people are going to be much more likely to follow through. So, for instance, when you say if I would you could say, so if I shared a 12-minute video with you, would you watch it? Or you could say, if I shared a peak call phone number or a phone number that explains everything in 2 minutes, would you listen to it? You could say, if I gave you this DVD, would you watch it? If I lent you this magazine, would you read it? If I invited you to a special invitation-only webinar, would you listen in? Okay? If I would you. So here's what I'm going to do now, guys. Make sure you're writing this down. If you don't know where your 5-link presentation is so you can share it with someone, this is the time to take notes. All right? The 12-minute overview video is at, and write this down, presentation.5links.com. Presentation.5links.com. Okay? There's another one that you could also use. The link is 5linkspaysme.com. 5linkspaysme.com. And there's a third one I'll give you. The third one is 5linkspresentation.com. 5linkspresentation.com. Is there a right one or a wrong one? No. It's preference. Doesn't matter. Okay? The thing is, just know at least one. Okay? So now, another one is or something else that you should also note is that we have these peak call numbers. It explains what we do inside of 2 to 3 minutes. So here are the 2 main peak call numbers that I use. One is from the company. His name is one is from one of the co-founders, Jason Guck. That phone number for the peak call is 585-420-4582. 585-420-4582. Or you can use Steve Carter's, which is 972-999-9277. 972-999-9277. So whatever presentation or cheat call, or of course you're going to give them a push-play DVD. Hopefully every one of you guys has a push-play DVD that you were sent when you got started, or you have a magazine that's in your starter kit. The whole point is when you say, if I gave you this, would you watch it or look at it or read it? That's the bottom line. And all you're looking for is for them to say yes. Okay? Now that's step 4, if I would you. Okay? Now, see, here's the problem. I'm going to pause right here because remember, there are 8 steps. I'm going to pause here to just let most of you guys know, and this is where I fell short too. Prior to really mastering this, most of you guys stop here. You say, hey, if I give you this magazine, will you look at it? If I give you this link, will you watch it? And when people say yes, you go away. You get nervous and you leave. The problem is, if you stop here, only 5% of people are going to actually do what they say. Why? I don't know. It's human nature. People lie. Did you guys know that people lie? They don't tell you the truth. They say, oh, yeah, I'm going to look at it, and they don't. But see, the thing is, in order to become a network marketing professional, which is what we're teaching you how to do tonight, you have to seal this up. You have to get much better with this. And so to complete the invite process, to make it so that 80 to 90% of people actually look at it, you're going to have to do steps 5 through 8. Okay? So if remember, again, step 4 is if I was you. Step 5 is confirmation number 1. And you can write down next to confirmation number 1, write down this is the time commitment. Okay? This is the time commitment. So simply stated, step 5 is when you would say, when can you look at it for sure? So if you say, hey, if I share this 12-minute video with you, would you watch it? They say yes. Then you say, great. Step 5 is, when can you look at it for sure? And they're going to give you a time. Now, sometimes people are funny. You guys know people are funny. You're going to give them a time, or you're going to ask them, when they can look at it, and they'll say, I'll get to it, I'll let you know. Respectfully, what you need to say to them, I'm a professional, you're a professional. Look, just give me a time and date because I prefer to schedule you. I'm very busy. I know you're busy. When can you look at it? Just give me a time and date. There's nothing wrong with asserting yourself. This is where posture comes in. You have to assert yourself so that people give you a time and date. If they refuse to do it repeatedly, then you say, you know what, no big deal, and you walk away. Okay? I don't want you guys to ever feel afraid to walk away from somebody who is not going to take you seriously, because I promise you, if you have to beg them to watch your opportunity, you're going to have to beg them to do this business. You're going to have to beg them to get customers. You're going to have to beg them to get business partners. We're not in the begging business. So again, step 5, confirmation number 1, the time commitment. All you're going to do is ask them, when can you look at it for sure? And you want them to give you a time and date. I don't care if the time and date is now or if it's 3 months from now. That's okay. Okay? The bottom line is you just want a date and time, no matter when it is. Okay? So that's step 5. Step 6 is confirmation number 2. Next to confirmation number 2, I would love for all of you guys to write down, confirm the time commitment. So step 6 is confirmation number 2, confirm the time commitment. So when you confirm the time commitment, you would say, so if I followed up with you on, and then you're going to give them a date and time after the one that they gave you, you would have seen it for sure, right? So let's just say in step 5, and I'm going to role play with myself. So for step 5, you say, hey, Bob, so when can you look at it for sure? And he says, oh, well, I can look at it tomorrow afternoon about 2 o'clock. And then you say, great. So this is step 6. You say, great, Bob. So if I followed up with you tomorrow at about 4 o'clock, you would have seen it for sure, right? Okay? I'm going to role play again. Let's say I'm talking to Mary. Hey, Mary, when can you look at it for sure? She says, oh, I can look at it Friday at 4. So I say, okay, great, Mary. So if I followed up with you Friday at 6, you would have seen it for sure, right? All you're looking for is for them to say yes. That's it. You want them to be in the yes business. That's a key principle. Okay? I'm going to use one more example. Hey, John, when can you look at it for sure? I can look at it right now. Great, John. So if I followed up with you in about 20 minutes, you would have seen it for sure, right? He's going to say yes. That's step 6. Are you done yet? No. You're almost done, no. Step 7 is to schedule the next call. So you can simply say, great, John, I'm going to call you in 20 minutes. Great, Mary, I'm going to call you Friday at 6. So you're just going to schedule the next call. That's it. Step 8, you guys remember step 8. Step 8 is to get off the phone. You say, great, Mary, great talking to you. I got to run. Bye. Remember, we're in a hurry. Okay? Many times we are stuck on the phone with people who keep badgering us with questions. And remember what we call these? We call these the green apples, right? We call these the people who you don't know if they're trying to waste your time or if they don't know how to say no, whatever it is. If we're going to be professionals in this business, none of us have a lot of time anyway. Many of us work 1, 2, 3 jobs. We are in school. We're doing all these things. Your invites should only be about maybe 2 to 3 minutes tops. All right? So I'm going to do a quick role play with myself. So here we go. First off, let's say I'm talking to my uncle. Hey, Uncle Charles, how you doing? He's like, hey, great, man, I'm wonderful. I'll say, great, Uncle Charles, listen, I was on my way out the door, so I can't talk long, so I'm glad I caught you. Look, Uncle Charles, you've always been supportive of me. Man, I love you. You're my favorite uncle. Look, bro. Look, I just wanted to know. I just started a new business. And I'm excited. And I'm just wondering, who do you know who might be open to ways of making extra money? He's like, I know a few people. What is it? I'll say, well, look, Uncle Charles, like I said, I got to go. But if I shared a 12-minute video with you, would you look at it? He's going to say, okay, yeah, I'll look at it, sure. Great, Uncle Charles, when can you look at it for sure? I could look at it maybe Thursday about 4 o'clock after I get off work. Great, Uncle Charles. So listen, if I followed up with you Thursday, maybe about 5:30, you would have seen it for sure, right? Says, yeah, I would have seen it for sure. Great, Uncle Charles. I'm going to call you Thursday at 5:30 as promised, and we'll talk then. Hey, great, my nephew. I'll talk to you then. Great, Uncle Charles. Got to run. Click. Boom. Done. You should be able to do that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 times in an afternoon. If your invites aren't going like that, your business is not solid yet. It's not solid. You're going to have to continue to practice, but you want to get it down so that it's that fast and that quick. That will allow you to become a professional in this wonderful occupation and profession that we know is network marketing. Okay? So, all that being said, we're about 35 past the hour, about 36 past the hour right now. And so I want to just briefly do is also just let all of us who are involved in this Midwest tour that we have going on, I want all of you guys to also tighten up. And I want to help all of you guys get more people to your events. All right? So whether you're inviting for an event such as in Cleveland or for our event at Starters in Detroit where it's at a venue, or if you're inviting for a home presentation like the one at Lou Vernon's place or the one at Leanne's place or the one at LaShawna's place, no matter what the venue is, or whether you're having a PBR in your own market, how do you get better at inviting people? All right? Now, there's basically 3 main steps. I want you to write this down. How do you invite to your own event? 3 main steps. First step, clear the date. All right? So you can simply say to someone, hey, Mary, what are you doing Thursday at 7? Mary might be like, oh, I'll be home. I'm not doing much. Why? What's up? You can say, listen, I have a special announcement, and I need you to be there. I'm going to be sharing some information. I'm so excited about it, but I need you to be there. So you're going to say, well, what is it? Can you just tell me what it is? Say, listen, that's why I need you to go. All right? That's why I need you to come. I really need you to show up. If you love me, you'll be there. It's that important. I'm going to be sharing it with friends, family, everybody. And see, look, guys, notice what I'm doing. I'm just excited. I'm just on fumes. You want to just be excited. Now, if you have someone who is persistent and they just keep badgering you, say, listen, I'm only going to give you this one little preview, but then that's it. You just got to be there. And then that's when you can share the peak call, okay? That's when you can just share maybe a lifestyle clip, but that's it. Something small, okay? Something real small. But if you do it the right way, you're going to become more and more successful, I promise you. Now, the third step is you simply just want to add them to your list. If they said yes or maybe or they're going to try, put them on your list. In between 24 and 48 hours before that event, you're going to have another person, an upline executive, call your list on your behalf. Okay? Just like when people see the presentation, once they've seen it, you're not done. You're not going to try to answer all their questions. Your goal is to get them on the line with a third party. So once you've done any of these steps, once someone's eyeballs have graced a presentation, your next goal is to get them on the line with an upline executive. You want to constantly do that. Even at my position, I'm constantly getting Senior Vice President Larod Smalls on the line with my prospects. I keep Larod busy. But there's too many of us on our team. You're not keeping me busy enough. There's several individuals who are keeping me very busy, but there are many of you guys, I see you guys on the conference call right now, I'm not getting phone calls from you. So either you're not peaking, you're not exposing, or you're not executing. There's something missing. So I wanted to do this in-depth training tonight to really make sure that you guys understand, well, once someone has seen a presentation, you want to get them on the line with an upline. And I'm going to tell you guys very simply how to do it. You can write this down. I know some of your hands are burning, but that's good. All right? Here's how you get someone on the line with your upline executive. Once they've seen the presentation, most people have questions. They have certain emotions. And I would say 7 out of 10 people are reasonably positive about what they've seen. Not to say that they're ready to start, but they're somewhat positive. So when you get that person on the line, again, at the time that you agree to follow up, you should have an appointment book that's full of appointments if you've done those 8 steps correctly, because you'll just be setting up appointments left and right, left and right, left and right, okay? So at these appointed times that you've set up, let your upline executive know, hey, Ricardo, I have a 3-way coming up or a potential 3-way coming up Thursday at 8. I have another one potentially Saturday at 2. You want to be setting this up like a professional, because all you're doing is setting up appointments after people have agreed to look at some sort of a tool. So once you have that person on the line, of course, your upline executive could be myself, any one of our executives on the line. Once you're about to call that prospect, here's what you want to say to them. You want to say to them, hey, by the way, did you get a chance to watch the information? Did you get a chance to look at the magazine? Did you get a chance to look at the DVD or the link? The moment that they say yes, your goal is to now start to steer the conversation in the direction of getting your upline on the phone with them. Your goal is not to answer questions. Your goal is not to make small talk. Your goal is not any of that. Your goal is to say something along the lines of, and get ready to write this down. Your goal is to say something like this. Hey, Joe, while you were looking at the information, I just happened to have a talk with my upline. I was just speaking with one of the top people on our team, and he actually mentioned that he wanted to talk to you. So, I think I can get him on the line. If I can get him on the line, can you talk to him? I'm going to try to break that down again. You would say to your prospect, listen, I was just talking to one of the top earners on our team, and he would love to talk to you. If you have a quick second, and I think I can get him, would you have a moment to speak? Most times people are going to say yes. That's how you can bridge the gap between your prospect and your upline executive. Once you do that, boom, once you've connected your prospect with your upline executive, and you can do that, and you can master that process, your business is going to take off. It is going to take off. But you need to get good at not only knowing the rules, not being, disconnecting yourself disconnecting your emotions, being yourself, having passion, and then having a strong posture, but then understanding the invitation formula, being in a hurry, complimenting the prospect, making the invite, if I would you. Confirm the time commitment, and then reconfirm the time commitment, schedule the next call, then get off the phone, and then when you follow up, do that three-way call. I know it was a lot of info, but gratefully, I have a resource. Not only was this call recorded, but I have a great resource for all of you guys. That resource is a book called Go Pro. Again, it's called Go Pro by Eric Worre, and you can actually get the full book. Well, this book has been invaluable to our business, all right, and to our entire profession, and it breaks down everything I just told you. So all that being said, that concludes our training for tonight, and what I want to do is, as promised, I want to give you guys